All right, it is day 16, December 11th. Now we had it was a busy day. I actually was late this morning. I woke up at 6:30. I normally leave by 6 o'clock, and so I didn't even get to work till 7:45. It's about an hour drive for me, about 45 minutes. But I showed up late. My boss didn't really seem to care. They were just kind of hanging out, I guess. They were watching other trades do their jobs. The bricklayers started today laying block, and while they were laying block, we had to correct an issue with a bent pipe. The iron workers drove over our pipe with a forklift and took this 3-inch piece of rigid to the ground, bent it over completely. We couldn't straighten it. There was nothing we can do to reshape it. That's the school zone. Anyway, so they bend this piece of rigid up, so we have to take a saw, take a concrete saw, cut a big rectangle out around it, and then I chipped with a hammer drill all day long. Now, they had a pretty big hammer drill that my company owned, and we took it to it, but while they were doing that, he was like, hey, go get that other small hammer drill, and you go ahead and start taking some chunks out too. So I walked over to our Connex for storage, and I found the hammer drill, plugged it in, started chipping away, and I just wasn't doing nothing. And the concrete guys, I don't know if it was the concrete guys or the bricklayers, but I think it was the concrete guys, walked over and said, hey, do you guys want to use this? And it was this big 30 amp Hilti hammer. It wasn't even a drill. It was a drill. It was a big hammer drill. And I mean, it shredded. So we put those other two to the side, and we chiseled and chiseled and chiseled all day. So I'd say I probably chiseled for probably 4 hours, 5 hours straight, maybe even 6, because we got started pretty early in the morning. I'd say I had to dig a foot deep where we were before I hit open air. So I chiseled away, and I mean, my hand is sore. I don't know if you can see it or not, this autofocus, but I have a blister right there from just holding on to that. Now, I got really uncomfortable in the middle of it just because I was down on my knees with my knee pads, and they kind of just got tight, and I had to keep changing how I'd sit, and I'd sit this way, and I'd sit this way, and I'd kind of rotate my legs around, but I never really got a good way to sit. And I just chipped and chipped and chipped, and eventually my boss was like, all right, we're going to go look at this other school because they're pouring concrete in the deck, and we're gonna go watch that, so you keep chipping away. And so I non-stop just sat there and just chipped and chipped and chipped and chipped, and I had earplugs in the whole time, and it was I wouldn't say that it was a nightmare, because it was fun to get to do something new, something a little bit different. Man, this road is bumpy. I'm looking at my screen right now, and it's like I'm jiggling. Sorry. Anyway, so I chip away. I cut this hole that's probably 1 foot by 2 foot out. We cut this pipe down. Well, my boss cuts this pipe down, and what he did was really cool. He actually kind of made a nick with the Sawzall blade, and then bent the Sawzall blade and still turned on the Sawzall, and it still ran bent, and so it was actually more of a lateral cut, because there was rebar in the way. We couldn't get all the way through the hole, all the way through to make a completely horizontal cut. So we make this cut, get the ream it, get this fitting on there, then we had another piece. We put that piece on there on this fitting, which it was a concrete type compression rigid fitting, because we couldn't use threaded rigid fittings inside the concrete. They're not concrete type, so we went ahead and used this compression fitting, and that got a length of pipe up out of the concrete, and they're going to go ahead and pour, so that way we're where we need to be there. And then from there, which that took up the majority of my day, after that he kind of walked me through the block layers. Now, there is a job which is called watching the block, which is where basically as the people lay block, we have to make little notches out of we have to make little notches out of the block, or they make notches out of the block, and we stick a 90 through it. And so we take a piece of 1/2 inch EMT, we bend a 90 that's about 30 inches high, we cut the 90, and then we stick it. Then we have them help them stick the 90 through the block. So essentially, what it is we are preparing I guess you could call it a nipple, although it's not technically a nipple, it's just the stub. We're preparing the stub out for whenever we do put either an outdoor receptacle, an outside light in there. So we're going to have to know pretty precisely where everything needs to be, which includes looking at the drawing. I've done quite a bit of drafting. I did a lot of drafting in high school and a little bit in college, and so I know my way around a drawing okay, but nothing like my boss. But I should be able to figure it out. So he showed me a bit of that, and that was basically how we ended the day. It was just a little bit of cleanup, but I literally spent all day long today just chipping away at that bent pipe, just because somebody wasn't looking where they were going with on a forklift, which blows my ever-loving mind. But oh well. For lunch, we went and had Brahms. It's a Midwest location. I think they're only in Kansas and Oklahoma, but I could be wrong about that. It was pretty good. I had a grilled chicken sandwich with mustard and fries and just a Dr. Pepper, but it was a pretty good meal for lunch. The chicken was a little tough, but that's just grilled chicken for you. It gets that way. Tool of the day is actually, there's a tie, and I'll tell you why. And they are both somewhat safety related. So number one is my knee pads. I got these from Lowe's, and they did a really good job of protecting my knees today. I was down on the ground for, like I said, 4 or 5 hours down on my knees, and those, I would have been miserable without those, especially because I was working with chipped blocks, and so I would have had to stop and clean off that area with a broom basically every time, or my hand, and make sure I wasn't putting my knee down directly on a rock, because that's the worst thing, is when you put your knee straight down on a rock. It's like stepping on a Lego. And then the other one is my safety glasses. I can't reach those. They are all the way down in my floorboard, but I'm not capable of reaching those. Anyways, they're wrapped around my glasses, because my glasses are prescription, and I have contacts, I just don't really wear them, so I have wraparound safety glasses that are bigger than my glasses. And it was just, there's a lot of rock flying at me, and I can't tell you how many times I had to jump back because a piece of rock just came flying right at my, right at my pupil. So I was glad to have those glasses. Excuse me. Excuse me. All right, I guess that's the show for today. It's 8 o'clock. It's 8 minutes in. All around, it was a really good day. I've kind of been looking into alarm certifications more. What I need to do to get alarm certified. If that's something that I'd like to pursue. I had my wife hopefully my wife printed out some documents for me. If not, we can do it another time for sure. But, alright, I'm out of here. Have a good day. Bye-bye.